Okay, guys, we're going to get started. Appreciate you coming on today. As always, we record these, and it'll certainly be on YouTube in a little bit. Just wanted to let you know that what we're going to do today is kind of go through 3 real important tips, in my opinion, for kind of having a better game plan to utilize some of the social media stuff this fall. Before I kind of get started, I just wanted to let you know that I do have kind of the next 4 weeks already set up from a scheduling standpoint. We have some pretty good webinars. We're going to, kind of the next 3 weeks, we're really going to focus on LinkedIn. As you guys know, LinkedIn about 2 weeks ago did a major upgrade, a lot of changes to LinkedIn. So I want to go through those changes. I'm going to break it down into 3 kind of 15-minute webinars to go through everything. And then at the end of the month, we're going to talk about Facebook. They've made some changes, and some changes that are actually helpful to you kind of grabbing potential client information and marketing to your clients. So I do have the schedule up. I think I sent it out to everyone this week in an email, but September's ready to go. I think we got some really good webinars that are going to help you kind of get to the next level. So today, what I want to do is kind of go through 3 key things. And the first thing I want to go through, it's not really social media based, but it's becoming kind of what I would call an epidemic. And I think a lot of you may not even realize what's going on. But my first tip is really very simple. Do yourself a favor and really think about your email signature. You know, about 5 years ago, 10 years ago, it was kind of the in thing to have a ton of graphics in your email signature, to really go crazy with your email signature. And the reality is now 75% of all emails are being read via mobile devices. And having all those graphics and having all that stuff in your email signature is really, it's actually bad. It can cause your emails to get blocked, to be flagged as spam. It can do a lot of things that just make it harder for your clients or your potential clients to read your emails. So 2 things to kind of think about. 1, do you have an email signature set up? You definitely should. But 2, you probably want to go in there and simplify it and make it more quote-unquote mobile friendly. Your email signature today really should have your name, your phone number, your email, and your website. And maybe if you have some sort of company motto or, you know, in business since 1965 or something like that, sure. But you want to stay away from the graphics. You want to stay away from, you know, crazy amounts of text. I mean, I have one guy, he's got like a bio in his email signature. Imagine trying to read that on a smartphone. I guess that's my point. They're just not going to follow your emails. So do yourself a favor, double check that. The other thing you want to take a look at, and unfortunately I can't really show you how to do this because it's different on everyone's phone, but like let's say you're using some sort of email system on your computer, Microsoft Outlook. Microsoft Outlook is going to give you an email signature. You're going to go into Outlook and actually edit it there. But if let's say you have an iPhone 6, right? The iPhone will actually control your email signature for any emails you send from your phone. So I guess my point is whether you realize it or not, you actually have 2 email signatures now. So you may want to double check your phone and go in there into the settings and set up an email signature from your smartphone too. In my opinion, they should match. Your email signature from your Outlook should match your phone. So, you know, again, little things that are overlooked, but in my opinion, make a big difference for running a stress-free business. Nothing worse than someone saying, I didn't get your email. I've done a lot of research and consulting for clients, and a lot of times the culprit is their emails are just huge. When I say huge, I mean like a file size, because they got so many graphics in there. You don't need to have the Facebook and LinkedIn and Twitter graphics like you used to. Just put your website there. The people will find it from there. Anyway, so that's my quick tip on email signatures. I think it's important, and I think it's worth 15 minutes of your time to clean up. The next thing is kind of like I said before, LinkedIn has released a lot of new features lately. One thing that I think is very promising, and there's a lot of potential, is to use LinkedIn's new Publish a Post feature. And you'll see it right here. So basically, all I've done is I've gone into LinkedIn and I clicked the home button. And LinkedIn kind of gives you 2 options, okay? Option 1 is the traditional share and update. I would call that your daily posting, right? Maybe you want to just say, you know, FYI, open enrollment's 90 days away. Contact me if you have any questions. You know, it's a simple area to do a simple post. Well, they've created this publish a post area, which is definitely different. And when I say different, different things are occurring when you submit it. So basically what it is it's kind of like blogging within LinkedIn. So if I click on publish a post, what it lets us do is it lets us really create like a really nice graphic up here, an image. And then there's, you know, kind of a whole space here where we can write up literally paragraphs of information. So to cut through all the nonsense, really the point of the publish a post area is for you to maybe once a month write something that's somewhat intelligent. And maybe you guys are laughing a little bit, but what I mean is it's a spot where maybe you're going to get people who don't know you finding it. Because when you publish those, when you use that feature, one, it actually gets indexed on Google. So like let's say you want to write something up on changes to Social Security or something, right? And it's your opinion on how it's going to affect people, or it's your review. You would go in there, you know, maybe you write it up on Microsoft Word, make sure there's no spelling mistakes, and then you pop it in, put up a nice little graphic that you find, and you hit publish a post. What's going to happen is, one, it's going to go to every one of your contacts. But where it's going to go is it's going to go up here in this little flag area. So every one of your contacts, their flag area is going to be lit up. And if they click on that, they're going to see that, you know, Ken French has just published his top 5 LinkedIn tips. And my point is it's a much higher probability that they're going to read what you published. Whereas when you're just posting it on your feed, it's going out to all of your connections feed, right? But, you know, they may not go on LinkedIn that day and they may miss it in the feed. So when you're doing the publishing post, it stays up there for a while. And look, you can kind of see one. Here's one from Nikki Bush. It's just kind of like whatever, top 20 best deals over $1 million in Austin. She may be a real estate agent. But anyway, you can kind of get the feel for what she's done. It makes it really look nice. It really is kind of blogging within LinkedIn. I am going to talk about this in a little bit more detail next week when we focus more on LinkedIn. But I think my point is start to understand that LinkedIn is now offering a lot more tools to, you know, get you more optimized and, more importantly, give you the ability to touch the people you're connected to. So what that means is you should just kind of get familiar, go in there today and play around with it. I'm not saying you should immediately post something. I think anything that you post should be well thought out and done professionally. But I think that when you post it, assuming that you have connections, people will read it, and it will give you an opportunity to convert those people to potential whatever. It's something to understand, and it's something to use, in my opinion. What's going to happen is over the next 6 to maybe 18 months, people will start to learn about it, and it'll get oversaturated, and it'll lose their luster. It'll lose its luster. So like 2 years from now, it won't be what it was. What I'm trying to give you guys is the inside track. This thing is new. It has the potential to get you out there. So try to take advantage of it, you know, for the rest of this year, because I think it'll help. The next thing I want to just kind of focus on, and this may sound, again, broad, but you would be surprised. You know, for the rest of this year, you really should try to create a system for getting your clients' emails. Let's just start with your clients. I actually was in a focus group about a month ago and really was kind of knocked off my seat by how poorly independent agents are doing when it comes to contact information. I found that independent agents were more likely to have actual home addresses compared to email addresses. In my opinion, a home address is absolutely valueless today. I mean, there's no way you're going to send out a mailer. I mean, you might, but just think about how much money and time it would take to execute that. I just can't see you winning that. But at this focus group, they kind of threw out the stat that 67% of all independent agents had less than 25% of their clients' emails. And, you know, you could say, wow, that's shocking. But what I see that as is that's an opportunity. I mean, that means a lot of people just are not organized. They're not running their company efficiently and effectively. In my opinion, it's not so much about emailing the person. I mean, that's the first thought. Well, I get someone's email address, and now I can email them something. Yeah, I mean, that's one way to look at it, but I don't look at it that way. I look at it that if you get that person's email address, now you can go into LinkedIn, and you can ask them to connect with you on LinkedIn. Now you can go into Facebook and ask them to follow your business page. Obviously, you can put them into your email system and send them monthly updates or alerts, all very important, and all very important from what I call diversified marketing approach. You know, I think my top clients, the guys that are really dominating when it comes to marketing, they're doing a lot of things like a little bit, if that makes sense. You know, they use LinkedIn from a marketing perspective. They use Facebook. They have a newsletter. They do send out email alerts. Yeah, maybe once a year they'd send something out in the traditional mail. But the key is they're doing a lot of different things. But the problem is it's hard to get yourself in a position to utilize these things when you don't have a system to be consistent, if that makes sense. And what I find is a lot of guys or a lot of people, they will try, you know, they'll get gung-ho about growing their database, and they'll do it for about a week or two, and then they burn out. It just becomes overwhelming, and they don't have that system in place for really obtaining the people's information. And in the end, it's hard to grow like that. So again, just a general thing. I was sitting in some focus groups for the independent agents of New Jersey, and was mind-boggled by some of these polls that they took at their national convention. And again, I think it's an opportunity for everyone on this call to really say, hey, look, a lot of our competition is not doing the job. If we can just get 60% of our clients and potential clients, that means we can get the attention of our competitors' book and start to get that to come to us. So I guess my point is that do not underestimate the value of getting an email address. It's becoming more and more important with all these social media tools, because all of their social media tools are connected to their email addresses. And make no mistake, all of their social media tools are now connected to their cell phones. And that is what's going to become the next generation of things, kind of the great text war, which we're heading towards. You know, every time you get an update, they get a text. All that stuff's becoming very, very important. But I guess my point is the email addresses become the foundation of all of that. If you aren't getting the time to get those things, once we really get to the next level, you're going to be left in the dust. I'm very confident in that. And that's something I do try to be very diligent in getting those things. So again, just to kind of review, you know, double check your email signatures, get those graphics out of there, get all sorts of big content out of there. It's actually hurting you. Make sure that your mobile devices have an email signature set up, very important. You know, take a look at this new feature on LinkedIn, the Publish a Post, very powerful tool. You know, I've actually gotten some hits from Google from it. You know, obviously work on getting your emails. Again, next week what we're going to talk about is we're going to go into LinkedIn a little bit more deeper, talk about some strategic setup tips. As I mentioned, LinkedIn made some pretty big changes 2 weeks ago, so it's changed the way you set up your profile. I want to kind of go over that stuff and make sure you guys are in a position to use